Welcome to the TeacherCast Educational Network, coming to you from the TeacherCast studios since 2011. Join us each week as we bring you the latest educational news, edtech updates, and hottest interviews with today's most influential leaders in education. And now, for your host, Jeff Bradbury.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TeacherCast Educational Network. My name is Jeff Bradbury, and thank you so much for joining us today. This is episode 4 of the brand new Jeff Bradbury Show, the show that is going to be helping you take your brand to that next level. If you're a blogger, podcaster, author, or anybody looking to take advantage of the great things happening in social media these days, this is the podcast for you. And guys, I am so excited. I just came back from an amazing trip out to FETC. Had a chance to meet with so many teachers, so many people that are out there in this branding space that we call educational technology these days, and also had a chance to talk to a lot of great edtech companies. And I am so thankful and so supercharged by the responses that I got when I said to people, we've got a brand new show helping you guys build your EDU brand. So many people said, oh my goodness, I got to subscribe to that. I got to check on it. How do I do that? I am so happy that I had the opportunity to go out there. And if you're somebody that I ran into at FETC, it was such a great time. I hope you had a great time, and it was nice catching up with you guys. We had a fantastic conference, got a chance to go down there and do our podcasting workshop, talked to about 50 educators, met a lot of great people who are in the podcasting space, wanting to bring audio and video into their classrooms. It was an amazing time. Also got a chance to hang out with the Future Ready Tech Coaches group. That was awesome, led by the fantastic Brianna Hodges. And I also got a chance to check out some of the great things over at Microsoft Education, spent some time with our friends at Dino, hung out at the Startup Pavilion. Some amazing things going on at FETC. Don't forget to check out everything over on teachercast.net. We've got some great wrap-ups. We just released an Ask the Tech Coach podcast all about the conference and basically trying to help tech coaches figure out what happens when you come back to reality and what happens when that conference honeymoon kind of goes away, and how do you get back to your kids after spending a couple of days in ed tech euphoria, basically. So don't forget to check out all the great stuff over on TeacherCast. We also took some moments this weekend to redesign our landing page, the page that really is dedicated to this. If you guys head over to buildyouredubrand.com, I'm still working on it, but completely changed things around. I redesigned my contact page, redesigned my booking system. If anybody out there wants to spend some time and really talk to me about their brand, you can check that out over on teachercast.net. I also created a tools page. This is one of those hot topics that came up at FETC of, what tools do I use and how am I doing my email marketing, and how am I doing my scheduling, and how about all those different things? Well, I got to tell you, we're going to talk a lot more about this as the next couple episodes come out. We've got a lot of great episodes coming, and we're probably going to be doing not only just a Wednesday, but a Wednesday and Friday schedule. So look out for that. I'm thinking on Wednesday is going to be a show much like this. And then on Friday, we're going to do an interview show. I've got some great guests that I've already interviewed, and I'd like to share all that stuff with you guys as quickly as possible. So I think we're going to be doing like a Wednesday and a Friday thing starting in February. And that's really because you guys asked for it. There's a lot of great things. Our 90-day email marketing challenge is off the rocker. My goodness, we've got over 50 educators now taking it. Some of them are even graduated from our introductory course into our advanced course, which is great. And next week, we're probably going to be announcing some of our webinars. I'd like to get you guys together. Anybody who's interested in doing email marketing, maybe we'll pick a Saturday or a Sunday and we'll just kind of do an hour-long question and answer with all that stuff. So if you're looking for a 90-day email marketing challenge, don't forget to head on over to Build Your EDU Brand. Smash on those buttons and let us know that you guys are out there. Again, if you're a blogger, podcaster, content creator, anybody that's looking to get ahead in this game, maybe make it a couple extra dollars, this is that podcast for you. Today's show is all about you. Today we're taking 3 audience questions. I've got a newbie question, an intermediate question, and an advanced question. People who have come up to me over the last month or so and really said, they need help. They struggle. Maybe this is you. Maybe you've got the same question. If you do have any questions, would love to have you guys answer them. You can always email me over at feedback@teachercast.net or check out our new contact form off of teachercast.net. Would love to hear from you guys. Would love to help you guys build your EDU brand. And let's start with our first question. Our first question is our beginner question of the day. And it's one that I had to face. It's one that you had to face. I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast and you've gotten this far into it, you might have said to yourself, I have an idea. I have this concept for a brand. I want to make a blog. I want to make a podcast. I want to do something in this world. Now what? Right? And I can remember myself way back in 2011. I said to this gentleman I was working with, we were podcasting together. We did a show called Apple Aid, which was the two guys talking about their iPhones. And I said to him, I have this concept for wanting to help teachers and teach them how to do technology in their classrooms the same way I'm doing it. What do I do next? It's one of the hardest questions, isn't it? And think back, if you're out there going, that was me, or that is me, what is the answer for that, right? The fact is this. Number one, if you have an idea, congratulations, you've just started the game, right? You have to have the idea to start that journey. And a journey of 1,000 steps, takes a single step to get started, or however that seems to work. The bottom line is this. Whenever you do this, you need to first come up with a plan. And I've seen so many, I'll use the word edupreneurs, but teachers who are trying to build things, they don't know how to get started, so they get started with everything. My focus whenever I work with teachers, whenever I work with edtech companies is let's write everything down. Right? Let's come up with the concept, right? Write down everything that you can think of. So I want to make a podcast. Let's go on this journey together. I want to make a podcast. Great. Who's the podcast for? Can we narrow down who that avatar is? Can we narrow down who the person is that we're speaking to? Generally at this part, somebody says, oh, well, I want to do it for educators. It's way too big. Way too big of an audience. Well, I want to do it for elementary teachers. Great. Still way too big. How about I want to do it for elementary teachers in their first 3 years of being an educator, and I want to help them learn how to stay organized, stay focused, and just be able to handle the stress of, being a new teacher, having to learn all the different subjects and get everything that I need underneath of me. Great. That's where we start. I've even worked with teachers where I've said, draw this person, right? Give this person a name. If you go up to any content creator and say, who do you think about when you write, they probably have a very definitive answer for, I call this person Bob. And Bob is a 3rd grade teacher. He's in his 2nd year. And Bob is going crazy because he's got, that parent. And he's got an administrator that doesn't look like this. And all these different... You need to know who that avatar is. That's why at the beginning of this show, I say, this is a show for bloggers, content creators, podcasters, writers, people who are looking to build their brand. This isn't a show for 3rd grade teachers who are in their 1st year. This is a show for somebody who's looking to build that brand. Now, the next thing that I want you to do, if you have that idea, if you've written down all of these things, is to seek advice from your inner circle. Share with them your ideas. Hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. Really? It's a good idea. It's a bad idea, right? All you have to do is watch 1 or 2 episodes of shows like Bar Rescue or The Prophet. And the first question these people always ask is, how long have you been in the blank business? Like, do you have any business going into the car business and buying an automobile dealership and all those, why are you doing this? Seek out advice from your inner circle. This could be a spouse. This could be a sibling. This could be, extended family. But talk to somebody. Why do I want to do this? It's going to start as a passion project. It's going to be something that you're going to want to spend a lot of time on. I can't tell you how many hours. I'm sitting here alone in my office while kids are running around or while my wife is wifing. it takes a lot of hard work to write a book, to make a podcast, to build a brand, to put yourself out there on social media. It takes an awful lot of time. Have somebody that you're close to, somebody who can be brutally honest with you and say, this is a great idea, or, somebody might even look at you and go, look, I know you. You're going to do this for 3 months, and maybe that's going to be it. But find somebody in your inner circle. Step 3, find experts. Find somebody in your field, somebody who's been doing it before, right? Find somebody who you can sit down and they can tell you their story. I'm happy to sit down with you. If you want to head on over to my contact page, would love to find some time. We can sit down and schedule a chat together. But find somebody in that niche. If you want to write a book, find an author. If you want to make a podcast, find a podcaster. Ask them the questions. What would they do differently? How did they start? What do they think about? Who's their avatar? Come up with these things. I don't have all the answers. And this is obviously a bigger question than doing this as a part of a show. But I want to, again, start by saying thank you and congratulations, right? If you have a brand or if you have an idea for a brand, number one, write down everything, seek advice from people in your inner circle, and then go out and find other people that have done it before you, and then just start. Just start and do it. So that is our beginner question. If you're sitting there saying, I want to start, I don't know where to start, let us know. Find us on our comment section and contact me over at feedback@teachercast.net. We would love to have you and would love to feature your question on the show. Our newbie question today is a little bit more advanced. It says, how do you take and receive advice from a mentor, even if it might sting a little? Now, I love these two questions because I kind of go back to back. I kind of did the answers in the same way. But, I mentioned earlier a couple seconds ago to seek advice from mentors. Now we have somebody asking the question, how to take advice from that somebody. I got to tell you, I've got a lot of mentors in this world. I've got mentors who are helping me write. I've got mentors who are helping me speak. I've got mentors who are helping me produce. I've got mentors who are helping me just kind of be comfortable. Everywhere that TeacherCast goes or has gone over the last almost 9 years, pretty much guaranteed I've reached out to people in the industry, or I've listened to podcasts, or I've listened to radio, or I've listened to whoever. I have people who I kind of go to and say, I look up to them. How do I do it? And I got to tell you, sometimes the information does sting a little, right? It does take guts. And when people seek out my advice, I'll be the first to say, look, I'm going to be looking at websites. I'm going to be listening to podcasts. I'm going to point out those things that maybe somebody wasn't thinking about. It's our responsibility to do that. And if you are ever in a position, it's your responsibility to pick apart that stuff. Just think about your students, right? My big advice is not to get frustrated. These people are trying to help you. You might have sought their advice. I think that's the right word. Or you might just have somebody sit down and say, hey, I listened to your show or I read your book. Can we talk about it? Might be a friend, might be a mentor, might be a loved one. But the biggest thing is don't get frustrated. Take a moment to listen, learn what they're giving you is advice, and have a good conversation with them. Figure out why. You don't have to take the advice, but listen. Recently, in fact, today, actually, we were wrapping up our semester in our class, and I happened to have a lot of adults that come into the classes with me. They're aides for various students. And I sat down with one of our aides, and I just said, look, you've been with me for the last 6 months. How am I doing? You see me every single day. Whereas the administrators see you when they walk into the classroom, right? I feel like I get observed constantly by these amazing people. I said, lay it out to me. How did we do? And this person gave me some really great advice. Some of it stung. Some of it hurt. But now that I'm in a position where we're actually starting the semester again, I know now what's in front of me, and I know how to better assess these particular students, and I'm looking forward to a new semester. So always, don't get frustrated. People are there to help you out, and nobody's looking to bang you over the head for whatever reason with their advice. They're all out looking to help you guys out. So our advanced question today is, kind of having to do with our 90-day email marketing challenge. This actually came in from somebody who's in the middle of taking our challenge, and they write in, how do you know if your email marketing is working? I thought this was a great question. And if you're sitting here in our 90-day email marketing challenge, or if you're thinking about getting into email marketing, you know that there is no right answer for this. I can give you statistics. We can talk about numbers. For instance, in email marketing, there's a few statistics that you want to look for, right? You want to look for open rate, meaning what percentage of your emails that you send do people actually open? The number that people say is 20%. It's a low number, but it's also a high number. Click-through, right? Once they open the email, how many people actually click on things? And that number should be somewhere around that 2 to 5%, depending on the industry. There's people that say your email should only have one link on it. That way, you're either going to click on it or not. And there's emails out there that come in with dozens of links for all varieties of sizes. And I've tried each of those different methods. Some of the emails I send out are nice and long with a lot of pretty graphics. And some of them are just simple, paragraphs of text with click here if you're interested in some more information. Some of them are graphics. Some of them are videos. I've tried a lot of things. How do you know if your email marketing is working? You can also look at your statistics, right? If you put out an email and you look at your Google Analytics and you see a spike in your traffic or a spike in your downloads, awesome. You're doing something to attract people to your brand, to cause them to take action, to click, to download, to try, to whatever. So how do you know if your email marketing is working? It's really a personal question. I am totally happy. If you're out there listening to this and you'd like to schedule a call, schedule a video, I'd be more than happy to sit down, help you out, figure out what your automations, your sequences, go over a few different tips on how I do things. But I'd love to be able to help you out with that email marketing and really see if we can hone in your stuff. There's a lot of great email marketing tools. You can, of course, go over to buildyouredubrand.com and check out all the great things that I have there and all the different ways that TeacherCast is running through a variety of applications and systems. But overall, the important thing here is we are all in this together. And I think that was what I got out of FETC. Everybody that is I kind of hate the word, influencer, we're all in this together. We all have questions. Every time that I had brought up this particular style in this particular show, somebody said, I want to learn how to do that. And so if you have a question about anything, please reach out to us over on TeacherCast. You can email us at feedback@teachercast.net, or you can always reach out on Twitter @TeacherCast. Leave us a comment, leave us a voice message. We would love to hear from you guys and certainly feature you on the show. Now, next week, we're going to be going into some pretty interesting topics in the world of social media. I've got a great interview coming up with an amazing expert in LinkedIn. I know many of you guys are interested in learning about LinkedIn. I recently switched my LinkedIn philosophy. We'll talk a little bit about what I'm doing next week, and we'll talk a little bit about what you guys can do to leverage really what is becoming one of the world's largest content creation places. For instance, did you know that LinkedIn actually punishes you if you put a YouTube video on it? So how do you get around putting videos on there? We'll talk about all that stuff next week. So one more time, guys, I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to come into your car, your office, your classroom, your house, and helping you build your EDU brand. So on behalf of everybody here in the TeacherCast Educational Network, my name is Jeff Bradbury, reminding you to keep up the great work in your classrooms and continue sharing your passions on your platforms.
You've been listening to the TeacherCast Educational Network, hosted by Jeff Bradbury. Please reach out to the show with all of your questions on Twitter @TeacherCast or online at www.teachercast.net. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And please take a moment to write a review in the App Store.